Hey guys, welcome to the Inner Gaze. This is Allie. So I know it's been a little while since my last video, but today I wanted to work on my own throat chakra. And through me working through my throat chakra with you guys, this will hopefully inspire and give you guys permission and the opportunity to work with your own throat chakra and see what that means deeply for you. So, what the throat chakra is associated with is our creative expression. It is the expression of who we are. I like to think that the throat chakra is connected through the heart and the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is your identity center, and your heart is your truth, is your soul. Your throat chakra is where you are expressing who you are to the public. If you think about, this is kind of dark, but if you think about the past where witches were burned at the stakes, people are hung, people had their heads cut off, the throat tends to also hold a lot of the traumas of being persecuted in the past for speaking out when it was not publicly acceptable for you to do so. People were killed for speaking their truth. People were killed for being who they are. So this is the lifetime where we are eradicating that. People get killed for speaking up. That is not true. People still do get killed, but the risk of that, as far as like our government and like where we are today in society, is far lower than it was back in like the medieval times. So now it is time to speak up, and especially if you are a spiritualist or if you're going through the ascension journey, it's time to speak up about who you truly are and why you're here and what you're here to do. So I'm going to do something that's really scary for me, and I'm going to be a little bit more upfront with how I arrived on this journey and talk about my specific path to ascension and how I came to be a healer and all this. And it is because I'm a twin flame, and I normally don't like talking about the fact that I am a twin flame because twin flames have a lot of, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what a twin flame is. A lot of people, if it's getting mainstreamed, will look at twin flames as like the ultimate romanticized love or form of expression. People compare them to soulmates. So once the idea of soulmates has entered our consciousness collectively, soulmates became a very special way to identify someone you end up with. But soulmates are basically, you have soulmates everywhere you go. Pretty much everyone that you come into contact with, that you have a meaningful connection with, is a soulmate, has been with you in a past life, has helped you in some way. We are all soulmates to each other because we're all in this lifetime together, technically. If we are in resonance with one another and we are exchanging ideas, even if you trigger me, technically you're my soulmate because you're helping me undo a pattern that is deeply ingrained within me as well. We all are connected. But soulmates, thinking about those really primo soulmates, like whoever you end up with karmically in a spousal relationship, or who you came in incarnated into a family with, those are definitely your soulmates because those contain really important contracts that you have in this lifetime to complete in order to ascend to your next level and in your own journey. So a lot of us incarnated into families and bloodlines that had forms of abuse, addiction, or patterns of like narcissistic abuse, or the empath, or patterns of not speaking up, or are kind of like, holding back saying the truth, or speaking too much, being a little bit too vocal about how you feel. Like there are some difficult situations that we all incarnated into, and because of that, we learn how to overcome them within ourselves, how to acknowledge and change the patterns within, and how to create a more beautiful life for ourselves as we're moving along this path. It doesn't matter how anyone comes into this journey. You can come into this journey a variety of ways. The journey is the journey. It's just a matter of how consciously aware are you that you are on one, and where are you in it. Everyone who incarnates is on a journey for growth, and it never ends. Like, first, let's just say it's an infinite journey, and let's just be cool about it, because it literally is a never-ending cycle of growth and expansion in ways that we never could imagine. And I'd like to think that, yes, after a certain period of time, it does get easier and it does get more manageable, and you do begin to heal the patterns and wounds that caused you a lot of grief. So, twin flame journey. First of all, the romanticized love aspect of the twin flame journey, I just want to talk about that a little bit. If you are out there hearing about twin flames for the first time and being like, oh, I really, really want one, I really hope I find one, this isn't to say, like, this is not a marketing ploy. Like, I would say that if you are looking for your twin flame, first you have to be real about what you are looking for. Your twin flame is the, I believe, highest form of love that you can ever experience, because it is you. It is the other essence of you. It's basically, if your soul was so big that in order to have a huge experience on earth, you had to split into two forms. And it's kind of like the yin yang, where you're basically carrying each polar end of the battery of each other's spectrums and personalities in either side. So you are very much mirrors to each other, but you're very different in a lot of ways. But you have the same values and the same kind of desires of how to get to something in your life, right? But at the end of the day, this person is going to be your perfect mirror. If they are in your life, they're going to hold up every single thing to you that you still need to resolve on your journey back to self. Because let's just say everyone on this planet is here for each other in that way. Regardless if you have a twin flame, regardless if your soul decided to split and come out onto the earth at this time and go through two ascension processes so that you can come together and unify in some way and also help the planet ascend, right? Every single person here who is ascending, and I believe the vast majority of people on this planet at this time are ascending, are able to encounter others, are being contracted in relationships that are geared to show you your biggest wounds, to show you where your unconscious beliefs are hidden. That's why we need relationships. We need relationships because they show us, they reflect back to us where our hidden unconscious patterns are, where our pains are. We can heal a lot on our own. We really can. And we have therapists, and we have healers, and we have others who are there to help guide us through that solo journey. But in my personal opinion, there is really nothing that is more intense and more like boot camp than like a relationship where you have a contract that forces a deep inner reflection by holding up something you can't avoid. Does that make sense? So think about when you are paired with someone and you're in a relationship. And yes, relationships should be wonderful and blissful and happy and like passionate and wonderful. But once that period of connection and getting you to sort of fuse and stay together, passes, then what happens is you become a little comfortable with each other, and you start to hold up your truths to one another, and you're not going to be able to hide from your partner. That's why a lot of partners get into the same fights over and over again. They get into the same cycles over and over again. It's because the relationship is a beautiful design to help you grow. That's what they're there for. I mean, every single one of us. And it's not just romantic partnerships, it's deep friendships too. And when you're triggered within those friendships, it's not because that friend is bad or that friend has done something wrong. It's because they are literally contracted to show you you. So backing up to the twin flame journey, the experience is that you meet someone who you have deep deep love connection with, and you don't it's really not something that you can or have experienced before. It feels like a heightened version of like the greatest romance ever. But when that begins to slowly fade, basically that is the fusing mechanism. You come together, you fuse as one, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're one, yay. But then what happens is the mirror effect happens, and you're faced with every single shadow, every single wounding, every unconscious pattern and belief that is present in what you do in relationships or in what you do with love, and what's basically holding you back from being your complete self. And it can be very, very challenging. Not only like, maybe not in a fighting way, but in an energetic way. Because it's not just this lifetime, and it's not just our lives. It's the patterns we're holding from our family lines, and it's the patterns that we are, that we've incarnated over and over and over with. So it's not like it's just one thing, you know? And I think there's just so much crap out there about twin flames. There's the runner and the chaser, and like the person who holds on, the person who runs away. Like, it's not that simple, because I do think that there's a runner and chaser element in a lot of relationships. It depends on your attachment styles as a child, right? If you get overly grabby and you hold on really tightly, and that's your attachment style because of fear of loss, that's your attachment style. And generally you're going to probably attract people who are the opposite of you, who like tend to run away because of fear of loss. It's all the same thing. But twin flames, I think, are like a very extreme version of this. And if you're on this journey, like, you know how it is. It's not meant to be perfect and blissful. And there's a separation phase for a reason. The reason is because once you are on this journey and you are consciously aware of what you're healing, the twin flame journey becomes sort of like a roadmap. It helps you identify what it is that you need to heal in this chapter. If you have the privilege of coming together with your twin and then going apart from them again, it's nothing to fear. It's literally just, well, the energies put you back together so that you can isolate the things in you that you're still holding on to, and then separate so that you can go take care of your business and not create like a monsoon around your own dramas. Because at the end of the day, all relationships need to transform to an unconditional love template. That means the person that you are partnered with is not going to be the person to like resolve your issues. Like, you can't go into a relationship feeling like, okay, well, now that I'm in a relationship, I'm going to be fat and happy, and everything, all my problems are going to go away because I've got my pair here. It's not supposed to be rose-colored glasses like that until you're able to heal your own self. The idea is that this is a journey, just like any journey, back to wholeness. And you are on this journey to become whole within. And the union that you seek with another is actually a union that you seek within. It is your union between self and God, or whatever it is that you want to call it, between source energy. It is the divine balance of masculine and feminine energies within the self. Any part of you that is overgiving, that is leaning too hard into others, that has expectations on others to fulfill your happiness, any part of you that is unwilling to let go and just surrender to the flow of the universe, anything about you that fears loss, anything that fears death, is going to be rattled if you are on the twin flame journey. So it's not like one of those things I'd say like, go out, get yourself a twin flame, it's super fun. Like, it's really hard work, and we have a mission here, and the mission is to help yourself become whole so that you can teach others to become whole. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of a big deal for me because the inner gaze is not meant to be about finding romance or people who are having trouble with love situations or whatever. Like, it's part of it. But I think love is there, and the idea of romantic love, this idea that we're crushing, this idea that we're recreating into a harmonious love template, this idea of loving self alongside another self who loves themselves, this idea of letting things come to us and flow to us and to create the reality that we'd like to live in without fear. That is a universally applicable idea, and that's very, very powerful. The idea that we can heal ourselves from within so that we can all become whole, that's a very powerful idea, and it's possible. So I don't want to necessarily like make this about twin flames only and twin flames going through their experience, but I, having been on the experience for, let's see, I found out about twin flames a little over a year ago. So I found out like February. So February 2018. And then I had my awakening in March, like beginning of March. So a lot of people who are out there doing readings for twin flames or healings for twin flames, like they have a very specific purpose. I feel like there is so much richness that I've received from the twin flame journey that I want to apply it to anyone's journey, and it can be and it should be. So like when I do come on here and talk about twin flames, there might be an element of healing that has to do with the splitting or something to do with the masculine and feminine imbalance, and that is what I'm here to do. That's what part of my journey is. That's part of what my mission is the balance of the giving and receiving. That's for the majority of what my twin flame journey has been about. It's about, like if I could sum it up into a nutshell, it's healing my abandonment wounds and coming into balance between my giving and receiving energies, or my masculine and feminine energies. Everything has sort of always come back to that, surrendering control, letting go of my abandonment issues, keeping the faith, but also releasing expectations and control at the same time, and balancing my own masculine and feminine energies within. Literally, that's all it comes down to. So that can be applied to anybody. But there are specific things that twins need to heal first, I feel, because this journey is an accelerated path. It's basically like ascension on steroids. There's really no way out of it. Like, if we kind of decided to like take a break on our healing and just like, well, you can enjoy your life and like have a really good time, but stuff when it comes up and it needs to be healed, it's like very, very present, and like it's kind of like, all right, well, I got to address this, or like, you just have to keep moving. You just have to keep moving forward. There's no like time for sulking. There's no time for messing around. So I'm trying to think like how could this apply? It's like funny because the people who end up coming to me for healing tend to be twin flames as well. I automatically connect to a lot of twins. So you know what? I'm just going to let you guys put in the comments, like, what would be helpful for you? Who here is on a twin flame journey? Who here doesn't care? Doesn't matter. Because I want to use it. I want to be real about who I am, and I want to be real about how my journey has affected me. I didn't just become a healer because I thought Reiki was cool. I became a healer because shamanic Reiki and shamanic healing circles started helping me love myself. And because I love myself, I met someone who was on that journey too, who was also learning to love themselves. And then their journey and my journey can then help each other learn how to become whole. And that has been the stimulating force of my ascension for the past year and a half. So like, or maybe 2 years at this point. So, like, I want to help in the best way possible, but I also realize that from the throat chakra, I have to be real about myself, and I have to be real about my identity, and I have to be real about what parts of the process and what terms and what understandings have led me to be able to grasp my journey in a way that was helpful for me so that I can help you. So anyway, this has been a long video. If you've gotten to the end of it and you do have comments and you want to weigh in, please comment and like let me know. Is this helpful? How much more do you want to know about the twin flame journey? What would be helpful to you? Because I want to be of service to you guys. So thank you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.